What's up, everybody? It's your boy LJeh Johnson. We're doing my second interview today with Zack Lowe from the Thunder Guys, and also, actually, you still with Thunder Guys? Because I know you with Thunder Nation right now.
I am. Our podcast is Thunder Nation, but I'm still. Craig and I are still doing the Thunder guys,
Oh, okay.
and we'll be doing some changes in the off season, some stuff. So
Nice.
not sure what it's going to look like, but it's going to be exciting.
Change is
So
good. Change is good. There's a lot of change in the Old Testament, so change is good. Change is good.
that's right. That's right.
But also from Heartland Sports, and he's here to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, the roller coaster that is. So
Man.
if you're a fan that's wanting to jump off the cliff, you got 2.5 feet, well 1.5 feet off the edge. Maybe Zach could help you get back on, but maybe
Yeah,
he
man.
can help me.
There's no need for that. We'll be good. We're all good.
Maybe he can help me
I'll
too.
talk.
All right.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, let's talk about the boycott.
Yes, sir.
I do like seeing that they have a plan and a solution with the boycott. That my whole thing was, as an African American young man in this country, I want to see us talk about things, but also just don't talk, but have a plan and solution,
Yeah.
and actually go sit at the table at the places that in the offices, these public offices, and things of that nature. Now that's something that they can do when the season is over. Maybe they can go to the city council meetings or go sit down with the police commissioners and the mayors of their cities and things like that.
Right.
But I do like seeing that they had a plan. I think it's voting. They want to open up to. They ain't gonna open up the peak for voting. I go down there and vote, but I'm doing mine by mail. But they want to open up the arenas for voting,
Right.
and they got some other things on there that they want to do. I don't think I don't think everything's on there that should be on there, but it's a good start. It's a good start. At least I see that they actually had a plan, of doing something. Um, so that's what I have to say about the boycott. Yeah, everything outside of that, as far as what happened and what are they boycotting for, and the reason of that nature. I okay, so I have a bachelor's degree from University of Oklahoma. Where it was criminology degree. Okay, and so one thing that I wanted to do when I was there was study police brutality and unarmed black men getting arrested and getting police brutality, and to study those crimes, study their stats and everything. So I was studying it then, and I'm studying it now. So every year I look at the UCR, the Uniform Crime Report. That's all the crime stats and everything that the FBI for the whole they put up there for the whole country or whatever. But I always tell people just go check that out if you get a chance, so we can know the whole thing. Like, so you can know the whole all the facts and everything. So you can know what you're talking about at the point.
Right.
Just like the Bible, like we don't want to. You don't want to be sound like you into legalism when you're talking about the Bible.
Right.
Just making stuff up.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
that's all I say about that. But anyway, what was your thoughts on the boycott?
Well, my initial thoughts were why. Not why are they protesting. I understand the situation with Jacob Blake. Obviously, a very sensitive matter. I think they're still, trying to sort through why it happened, what it happened.
Right.
There's always more to the story, man, and I don't like to even take sides. I like to. Because I feel like that's what happens. A news report with very little factual information comes out. People jump to their sides based on their predispositions, and I try so hard not to do that. And whenever you see anybody get shot, particularly a black man get shot, obviously your thoughts go to an overreaction of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And
on both sides, overreact of some sort. You're right.
Well, as more information comes out, I'm just like, this looks like an overreaction.
Yeah.
Overuse of force by police. And again, though, I'm still waiting for all the information to come out before you start overreaching or getting mad or whatever it is. So at the same time, I totally understand the reason NBA players felt like they needed to take a step back from playing basketball and stand up for their beliefs. And I guess my thing is whether you agree with them or not on their perspective on the issue, I can't fault them for honoring their conscience, I guess you could say, for standing up for what they believe in. And my initial issue was the lack of a plan, because there wasn't a plan.
Right.
They stopped playing, and it was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And they're like, well, we need to meet about it. Well, that could have been handled better, obviously, in hindsight. Thankfully, they were able to come together, and after some solid meetings, there were a lot of time spent meeting. I feel like they came up with some resolutions, which if that's good enough for them to feel like they can continue playing, great. I don't think that they were asking for anything too much. They put together a social justice coalition, which that sounds kind of generalized. Not really sure what that's going to mean. I feel like because it is kind of generalized, it could mean a lot of things. I don't know. They have pushed the issue to open up all NBA arenas to become a public voting place to help out with COVID concerns, that type of thing, which I have no issue with whatsoever. By all means, I want people to vote. I think it's a responsibility as a United States citizen to exercise our right to vote, and I believe in that firmly. So I think, I'm fine with that. And then I guess they've approved more advertisements encouraging people to vote. As long as, and let's be honest, there is very little bipartisanship here.
No.
There's a heavy lean to the direction that they want you to vote.
That's what I don't like about that.
Well, I'm not going to start preaching politics here at all, but I will say I disagree.
I do it when I'm off. I do it when I hang up with you.
Yeah, I disagree with their political leanings, but whenever it comes to human rights, to me that's not politics, and it shouldn't be.
Right.
If there's a problem, we need to work to fix it, and I believe we are all, as humans, at fault. We all have sinful nature. We need to work to be more like Jesus every single day, and I don't think you have to involve politics in order to do that. Now, on a larger level, there very well may need to be some legislation of some sort to continue to improve, and I'm not one to make those decisions. I can't even hardly comment on some of that, and I guess that's kind of where some of my issue is. I would never be one to say shut up and dribble, because people have a right to their opinion. If I'm speaking on something that's not necessarily my expertise, and they told me to shut up and teach English, I'd be taken aback. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or shut up and coach basketball, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, there's some people that I follow on YouTube that they don't say shut up and dribble, shut up and coach. They just disagree with the athlete or the coach, and they just tell you why they disagree with them. Jason Whitlock is one of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't. When she did that, I was like, no, you can't tell them that.
Yeah, that's just again, shut up and stick to your newscast. And I see regular people make comments like that. Just play basketball, and I want to be like, why don't you just go back to your job, whatever that is.
Right.
Whether it's an important job or it's a, I'm not going to try to bash anybody like that. I'm not going to go down that road.
No.
But to me, that's not the way to handle things. So when it came down to it, I mean, I see that they helped provoke some change. They helped spark some conversation, and if that's what they wanted, then great. Again, I want to make sure we're focusing on the real issues and not trying to push a political agenda. And obviously, you're getting a mixture of the two, unfortunately. And I mean, I'm glad they're playing basketball again. I'm glad that they have helped provoke some positive change. And moving forward from there.
Yeah, and it's like you mentioned, sin. It's just hard. It seems like when I'm looking at all this stuff that's going on, it seems like it's trying to defeat sin. Like we're trying to just get sin out of the world, and Man, I tell you what, you just it's just not.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, it's gonna be here, and you just gotta pray for people, man.
That's right.
But we're gonna move on because I'm gonna get into the deep into the weeds on that later. What was the difference? And no, this is a blowout. So they got blown out in game one. I don't know if they did in game two, but I know they did in game one. What was the difference between game one and game five?
It was very similar. I felt like game five, the first half, was very similar to every game so far of the series.
Right.
The starters, the offense has looked flat. The defense has been, honestly, I thought the defense was pretty great in the first half. Held Houston to 2 24-point quarters. Keep them under 50 for the half. That's an accomplishment, in my opinion. So they did a really solid job there. Defensively, I don't think they did things too differently. Harden got hot, regardless of whether or not Dort was defending him, and I felt like Houston's defense they didn't make any crazy changes. They just did some of the things they've been doing even more. So, like, they backed off Dort. Well, they super backed off Dort. He went 0 for 9 from 3. And here's the thing. He's got to realize after he misses, like, 3 of those, dude, you got to do something different. Now, when he drove to the basket, he looked solid.
Right.
He was much more successful. They were daring him to shoot the 3, and he kept doing it. And, I mean, the Dion Waiters quote comes to mind. He said, "I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9 because if I go 0 for 9, that means I got scared and I quit shooting." And I'm like, I mean, I guess if that's your perspective.
No.
You know,
us out the game.
Yeah, you know the saying, shoot or shoot. Well, real shooters got to make. You know what I mean? Whenever my players, when they say I'm a shooter, I'm like, yeah, but are you a maker? Like, is it going in?
Yeah,
I know you can shoot.
Dame Time was shooting too.
I've seen y'all shoot. But is the ball going through the hoop is the question. So when it came down to it, the offense just couldn't hit. And it was because they settled. Far too many times we would get penetration in the paint and have at least a look at a layup, and they'd pass out for a 3-point shot, and Houston was told, listen, Houston's going to shoot 53s a game, and they can live with that because hopefully they'll make 15 to 20 of those.
Right.
That's their goal. The Thunder averages around 30 attempts a game, and that's about where they should be. They shot 45 in Game 5, and they only made 7 of them. Set a record for the most three-point misses in NBA playoff history. Record previously held by Houston. Percentage-wise, it was our second worst three-point percentage of the season. It was just awful. So
if you look at the Thunder, we have never been like a three-point shooting team.
No.
We had Morrow, and the year we went to the finals, we had who do we have?
Tabo was decent. Daquan Cook.
That's who we had.
He was a solid three-point shooter, man. That's you realize we're about 10 years removed from that. We're getting close to a decade since that happened, man. It's taking me back.
Yeah.
Some of these young cats, they don't know anything about Daquan Cook.
No, they don't.
Yeah, he was a shooter. Tabo was, he had his games where he became more consistent. That finals year, I felt like the next couple of years up until he got traded.
Right.
Obviously, Durant, he's always been pretty solid from 3. I feel like his better years came as he had more spacing when he was at Golden State, unfortunately. But yeah, you're right. We've never really had that. And the thing is, even in 2012, three-point shooting wasn't what it is now. It has evolved so much in such a short amount of time, and that's been heavily led by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the Warriors. And now it's really hard to win games if you can't shoot threes. The Lakers have kind of proven to be the anomaly there, and that's because you've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the same team, and you can play when they play solid defense. They're pretty unstoppable. So they've done a pretty good job, despite not being a great three-point shooting team. Well, the thing is, the Thunder's not a great three-point shooting team. They can be. They've had games where they've shot lights out, but when it comes down to it, they live and die by the mid-range, by attacking the basket, by getting to the hole, and ultimately getting to the free throw line. And they were not able to do that effectively. They shot poorly in the restricted area, poorly in the paint altogether. They did well in the mid-range, which is pretty typical for Oklahoma City, above average by the league average. But looked solid at halftime, and Houston comes out in the third quarter, and we're throwing up bricks. They're knocking down shots, and then the Dennis Schroeder incident happens. I don't know, intentionality, whatever. He claimed it was an accident. He claims that's how he plays defense, coming around screens, and it was just one of those incidental contact things. And that's what I thought it was. I thought it was incidental contact. I wasn't sweating it at all. And obviously, PJ Tucker took exception, comes over, headbutts him, so they both get ejected. And now I see you got it pulled up there. They've both been fined $25,000. Neither of them will have further discipline, no suspensions or anything like that, which is fine. I do think that the situation with Schroeder was only called because Chris Paul got away with one, quote unquote, in Game 3. I know the Rockets were upset with that. The Rockets were demanding further investigation. It's like, all right, guys, we get it. Like they're kind of like the little brother that cries to mommy every single time they feel like something doesn't go their way. Ma, and like they want an investigation for everything, and I'm over it because their whole team screams crybaby. I mean, PJ Tucker's one of the worst crybabies. Eric Gordon, obviously, he's never committed a single personal foul in his entire life, if you ask him. They're just a bunch of babies, and I can't listen. Say Schroeder did do it intentionally, then fine, kick him out of the game, move on. Like, what is there to investigate?
Yeah.
Are you going to have him do a psych eval? Give him a polygraph? I mean, what are you going to do? It's just pathetic. Move on. Okay? If anybody has any reason to complain about nut shots, let's bring Steven Adams into the conversation, right? That man's been targeted more than anybody in the league, I feel like. So, I mean, James Harden, he needs Schroeder in the no-nos in Game 1, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it looked questionable, but it was a play on. It didn't even get looked at.
The no-nos.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, just get over it. Move on.
Well, it is the Rockets, so they gotta.
They're not going to. So going into Game 6, I have no doubt there's going to be a level, like an accelerated level of testiness. No pun intended there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be it's going to be there are going to be some emotions running wild. And what's interesting is Russell Westbrook was not. He did not affect the emotional aspect of the game at all. I didn't think. So it'll be interesting. Game 6 is going to be interesting any which way you look at it. So
see, that's why I asked what was the difference, because he was playing this time. He didn't play in Game 1.
He was not super impactful outside of he was good at attacking and then kicking out. He did not force a lot of shots. Some people felt like he forced some. I felt like he took ones that he needed to take to shake off some rust.
Yeah.
But I thought, honestly, in his limited time, which he didn't need to play much because the Rockets got up big, I thought he did a great job at attacking the paint, kicking it out, and they move it around, and they put up shots, and they shot, it was like 37% from three or something like that, high volume. So they did what they do. Like, nobody was particularly impressive outside of James Harden. There was no bench play that was just outstanding. Like, Jeff Green didn't do anything crazy. Eric Gordon didn't go off. He kept doing the same things he's been doing. They didn't do anything different. They just, I mean, Russ would be the only wrinkle that they added. They switched up the way they're setting screens for Harden. Just some minor differences there, but it wasn't anything crazy noticeable. What it came down to, it was Oklahoma City couldn't buy a bucket, and they settled way too many threes. So I felt like this was really more Oklahoma City gave it away than Houston ran away with it. Of course, the score was so big because you had James Harden playing deep minutes in the middle of the fourth quarter, despite being up by 20-plus points, and that's just because Houston's trashy like that. They're trying to pack stats, so that's fine. They can do that. They can have that one.
I mean, yeah, when they tried to get their three-point record on the Golden State Warriors, Mark Jackson fouled them. Did he foul him or something, or he just –
remember?
He did something, and he's like, you going to try to get the record on me? No, we got something for you. But so, how can we win Game 6?
Make shots. Don't settle. It's as simple as that. Just attack. Be aggressive. Look, Steven Adams had 12 points and I think it was 14 rebounds. He had 8 offensive rebounds. We had this strategy of I'm going to shoot threes and pray that Adams can get the rebound, and he did. He got a bunch of them, but he they're crowding. Houston's crowding the paint heavily. Anytime the ball goes down low, they're dropping hard and heavy because they're not big, and we still need to continue to attack. We need to be aggressive. We need to force them into foul trouble because, refs have been calling some. I mean, it's amazing to see Houston fans and writers, like verified writers on Twitter, complain about the lack of calls that Eric Gordon gets or James Harden gets, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about crying about officiating. That's a joke.
I mean, James Harden gets so many phantom calls, foul calls. It's just
you could just as easily call him for offensive fouls with all the pushing off that he does, but I'm not going to get into that.
He definitely pushed off on Dort on that one call.
Yes, definitely. There was no doubt in my mind. Oklahoma City cannot control what Houston's going to do. They cannot control what the officials are going to do. They have to control what they do. They have to be mentally tougher than Houston. They cannot give in to jacking up a bunch of threes.
Right.
If they attack, if they try to get Steven Adams involved early, which I've been saying this entire series, I don't think he should be playing 30-plus minutes. But when he's in, they need to utilize him. He needs to be a force down low. So if we settle for threes early, listen, if the first shot we take of the game is a three, we might not have a chance. Like, I don't mean we're going to lose the game. Like, we might get smacked.
Yeah.
Because they cannot do that.
Right.
You don't come. Listen, it's a new NBA. I'm still a little old school with starting off. Listen, start inside, you work your way out. That's my mentality. That's how I coach my JV guys. Don't you dare come in off the bench and jack up a three for your first shot. You are not hot. Right. You are not Klay Thompson. You are not Steph Curry. You're not even Ray Allen in the 2000 whatever it was finals. Whenever he was smoking the Spurs, you're not that guy. Okay.
And the Lakers.
Yeah.
Boston.
Don't be coming off the bench firing up shots just because you think you're a hooper. You attack, be aggressive. That's what the Thunder needs to do.
I mean, yeah, and as far as old school going, that brings to my point that I made in like last year. I know people love Steven Adams. He's tough, he's aggressive, and he can get rebounds. But man, he's limited on the offensive end, and I rather us, because of the way the NBA is going, I rather us get somebody that's like have more capability and more. It's not as limited offensively,
right.
More somebody that can move more, and maybe like an Anthony Towns or something like that. He can shoot the three. He can also dribble. And I know you hate hearing that, but I know you hate hearing
no. I mean, here's the thing. I love Steven Adams. He's one of my favorite players of all time, just because of I've read his book. His story is incredible. He seems like a guy that would be a lot of fun to hang out with. And as a basketball player, he's tough. He's like he's kind of like the second coming of Nick Collison. Tough.
Yeah, he is.
And not quite the exact same player, but in terms of just being tough and doing the right things, I feel like that's what Steven Adams does. And I understand the way the NBA is changing. I don't think he's just going to get traded, though, because of his contract.
Right.
And by the time his contract's up, I'm sure he wants to stay in Oklahoma City, so he's going to take less money because he's not going to get offered a lot of money. That's just a fact.
Well, can we have him take less money and get somebody like Anthony Towns, or Anthony Towns who's going to want a lot of money?
If we're going to get a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, we're going to have to pay for it. That's for sure.
Right. But, I know it sounds like a stupid question, but I'm just a fan. I'm just one of those emotional fans. So
right.
I'm just asking. So
go
ahead.
Let me talk you off the ledge, and here's why.
Yeah.
I've mentally prepared myself to an extent for tomorrow's game, for Game 6, and here's why. If we win, we're going to force a Game 7, and that's going to be stressful. Okay?
Yeah, it is.
That game is going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to be at church. I'm not going to have any idea what's going on. I don't have time to be distracted when I'm at church.
Right.
So
it might be one of those things it'd be good not to watch it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here's what I want. I will not be upset regardless of the outcome unless we play a really close game and then we lose in the end. I don't want that. Right. I want to win. Like, I'll be stressed out for 2.5 hours. I don't care if we win. I can handle it. I cannot handle another Damian Lillard situation where we play it tight and then we get a buzzer beater in the face and we're done. I don't know if I can emotionally handle that this week. So either blow us out early, so I'm just like, all right, well, it was a good season, or we better get this win because I can't be dealing with the emotional stress, man. It's just too much. I take it too seriously. So, but I say all that to say it has been a good season. We weren't supposed to be here. I feel like if anything, our players, our young core, have all gotten better. They have improved. And that's what I wanted to see from day one. I talked about that preseason last year. Mm-hmm. Improvement and development are primary. That was the primary order of what we needed to do things. That's what I wanted to take care of. And we did that. So we're going to have this short offseason. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, if the season's over tomorrow, if we force a Game 7, we somehow win. I don't know. But either way, there's no need to walk off a ledge, trade everybody. I still think Billy Donovan deserves an extension. I still think he deserves to be with this team. I think he's proven himself with this young core, and a lot of people are going to call me crazy for that. But unless there is somebody that is obviously going to fit in immediately, and be a solid replacement, then I think he deserves the extension.
Mark Jackson. But anyway,
I'm not a fan of that, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, if Bill Self, if he's pushed out the door, I think they're under investigation. I think last time I checked, I think Kansas was under investigation. But if Bill Self pushes out the door, I don't know, man. Billy, he may take that, but if we can figure out a way to put it on the other players. Maybe put it on James Harden, like kind of try to stop the other players a little bit. I think that's our best chance because it's still James Harden, and it's still the playoffs. So that's what gives me hope a little bit, that it's still James Harden. But so being a teacher at school, I know you guys have started school and everything, and you coaching. So how is it going to school and everything in the COVID?
It's been an adjustment. We've got. Obviously, we've got some changes we're dealing with.
Right.
We're not requiring masks like in the classroom.
Okay.
It's requested. It's expected in the busy areas, hallways, passing periods, stuff like that. Once you get in the classroom, though, it's not necessarily expected. I'm trying to respect my students, parents, my other teachers, my administration. I'm trying to respect that and wear mine as often as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. And it creates an issue. Obviously, teaching is communication, and it's a challenge to communicate to people when your face is covered. That's just that's simple. That's the way it is. So, it has been a challenge dealing with some of that. Coaching, we're just taking precautions. We're praying that everybody stays healthy, that there aren't any outbreaks, that we get to have a season. I'm so excited about this season. Another year, another opportunity for me to grow as a coach. Just continuing to learn the game of basketball. I got a fantastic group of young guys that we're very excited to get to compete. Our varsity team, I'm very excited about them. Just I want to be able to have school. I've enjoyed getting back to some level of normalcy, even with the weird adjustments. I want to have a basketball season. I want to have a football season. We had our first football game on Friday night, so that was a lot of fun to get to watch our guys play. I just listen. When it comes down to it, people are missing. They're missing opportunities, and I understand that the seriousness of a pandemic, but more and more info's coming out, man. And I don't know if you saw the latest reports from CDC. I saw something about how a very small portion of the quote-unquote COVID deaths are strictly from COVID-19. A bunch of them are comorbidities, meaning I think the average of those was like the average number of other issues that people had was like 2 to 3 other issues on top of it. So those were heavy contributors.
Right. Yeah, they just I've read that before where they just count that, if you got COVID-19. Even with they counted George Floyd because they said he had COVID-19.
Come on,
so
yeah. I want us to be safe. I want to protect the kids. To me, the kids, my kids in particular, that they're going to school too. Their safety is important. My colleagues, their safety is important. As for me, I'm not worried about me.
Right.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm
not worried
afraid.
either. I accidentally drunk out of somebody else's water bottle. And man, you telling me? I'm telling you, like for 48 hours or 72 hours, I was just, man, do I got it? Do I got it? I was saying, can I still taste? Can I still smell? And I was just living in fear.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest issue with people. We're just living in fear, and God has not given us a spirit of fear.
That's right.
But power, love, and a sound mind. So we don't have a sound mind right now in our society with this COVID.
We just need to use wisdom and discretion.
Right.
And I'm all for precautions and safety measures. I am.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to get it twisted. But
you don't care about nobody else.
I want to be able to have a school year. I want my seniors to get to experience a senior year. I want my kids to get to enjoy their elementary years. These are formative years for them. Their teachers are fantastic. Mm-hmm. I want them to be able to enjoy the classroom time, the being around their friends, because it takes a toll on them. I saw the toll that it took, the emotional toll that it took on my children to not get to live normal life for even a few months at a time. And it's hard on kids. It's hard on adults. So I know it's hard on kids. So I want to do what's best for them, and I genuinely believe the best thing for them is to get back to whatever we can close to be normal, in school, playing sports, competing. So much of that is so important for them as they grow and they mature at all ages. So I want them to be able to enjoy that. And I take my role as a teacher in a Christian school, as a coach of young men who come from all different backgrounds. I take all that very seriously. I have a responsibility and a job to do, and it is to honor them, protect them, to teach and lead and mentor them however I possibly can. And I'm just grateful for the chance to do that for another year. And no matter what precautions I got to take, if it means wearing a mask, which I hate, I can't stand it, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do it as much as I possibly can. I'm going to set an example even whenever I'm not necessarily required to. I'm still trying to do it. And it's tough, but so yeah.
Well, John Christ, he's a comedian, and he posted a video on YouTube. He said, well, what parents are actually like with COVID-19 when about the schools, and he was at the school, and he's like, okay, you're gonna open? Oh, thank God. I just love my kids and everything. And then there's a different view of him. So like, oh, please don't close the school. Get these kids out of my house. Please don't please have school. But I know you're not like that, Zach. I know you was. You have the kids at the house, and you like having kids at the house.
I like being able to get back to my life of look. I've worked for as long as I can remember. I've worked for at this point more of my life than I've not worked. So I don't know not working. Look, summer break is great as a teacher. I love that, but I had being at home since March was tough.
Yeah,
I'm an out and about person. Even when I'm not working, I like to be out. I like to be around people. So, man.
Yeah. But all right, Zach, man, I thank you for coming on. Tomorrow is the big day. We're gonna win. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get the victory. If we don't, it's all right. The Rockets, they'll play who? The Lakers or the Clippers?
Yes, it's the Lakers.
Lakers. That'll be a good series.
Yes.
I'm always happy for us. But
I ain't happy for him yet. It's still war right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, but all right, man. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, this is Zach Lowe from Heartland Sports, Thunder Gods, and Thunder Nation.
Have a good one, man.
All right, man. Bye.